So as you can see on slide 1, we're talking about our fifth layer, bliss. My presentation is a contemporary view of these 5 layers based on a 3,000-year-old wisdom tradition, based in the yoga tradition, basically describing human beings as having 5 layers of being. In Sanskrit, they're called koshas, but in plain English, it's 5 layers. And so far, we've explored the first 4, the body, breath and energy, then the mind and intuitive wisdom, which is also known as the witness. And this week we're covering bliss, but bliss can also be defined and thought of as joy, which is a little more everyday type of language. So, and you can see on the slide some of the words that perhaps describe this: mystery, magic, eternity, and dwelling within. So to go into that a little deeper, there are some questions that naturally come to mind as you think about what this layer is and what it's all about. So some ways to refer to this state of bliss might be a sense when the concept of I, ego, or you no longer exist, or it's a transcendent feeling state where time and space disappear. And it can also be, and I think this is Maya Angelou's comment, there are moments in our lives that take our breath away. It's important to note that we don't stay in a bliss state. We pretty much, as human beings, take mini vacations there. Sometimes we encourage the bliss state through our decisions, our efforts, and our choices. And at other times, as one of my students told me, shift happens and bliss and joy appear unexpectedly out of nowhere. But in either case, it's important to understand we do not control its appearance or the experience of it. We can operate some measure of management of those other 4 layers, but this one, not so much. When it's over, we may find ourselves saying, wow, that was amazing. The bliss experiences are unforgettable. And when we have them, often they stay with us our entire lives. For example, I had my first one when I was 12 years old. It was the first time I climbed a mountain. And I just was complaining all the way up to the top because it was steep. But when we got to the top and I stood and looked out over the landscape, I lost all sense of my little 12-year-old ego and my complaints. I was totally absorbed into that moment. And after that moment was over, it was like, wow, what was that? So that was my first experience of bliss. So it's important for us to think about when we've had these experiences and really kind of maybe journal about them or think about them. So the next question, where is bliss? Now that's a bit maybe easier to answer because it's everywhere. As you saw in the first slide, it's in us, it's around us, it's in front of us, behind, above, below, left, and right. It interpenetrates, just like the other layers, every aspect of our being. It's everywhere and every when. And here's a quick little story that illustrates what happens when we get into bliss. It's contemporized a little bit, but it's true to the original. It's titled Birds of a Feather. 2 birds of golden plumage sat on the same tree. The one above, serene, majestic, and absorbed in bliss. The one below, restless, eating the fruits of the tree, now sweet, now bitter. After eating an exceptionally bitter fruit, this bird looked up at the majestic, blissful bird and went back to eating the sweet and bitter fruits. Again, the restless bird looked at the upper bird, hopped up on a higher branch, and continued to eat the fruits of the tree. This eating and hopping upward happened many times until the lower bird reached the upper bird, lost itself in bliss, and realized all at once that the two had never been separate at all. The lower bird had enlightened up. So that's a great story to think about when you think about where is it. So the third question, how do we experience bliss? Well, these bliss states, they just kind of wait around for us when our feelings of being separate, imbalanced, confused, hurt, and distracted have been calmed, stilled, and transformed. And if we pay attention, we may find ourselves experiencing bliss as contentment or joy, perhaps when we spend time in nature, establish positive relationships with others, perhaps pursue a hobby, get lost in art or music or writing or some other creative activity, or as a volunteer in helping others. So bliss is also related to the search for meaning, how we choose our personal values, how we find meaningful work, how we spend our time, what helps us feel grateful and comfortable in our own skin, and what enables us to express our full, authentic selves. It's what the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche was referring to when he wrote, quote, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." That's deep. So finding our own personal why often can result from fleeting moments of bliss that reveal us to ourselves. And this is reflected in a line of one of Rumi's poems from several thousand years ago. What you seek is seeking you. So perhaps we've been living our lives according to someone else's rule book of do's and don'ts, shoulds and oughts and musts, while ignoring our own sense of what would be in our best interest. Or perhaps we've been living life on autopilot with no clear clue about what would bring bliss, meaning, and joy to our lives. So we have to really think about that. And we can use the 5-layer model as a map and a journey, as a map for our journey to help us find our why as we continue to examine every one of our layers of self-awareness, sorting, testing, observing, experimenting, dissecting, and classifying until we gain a blissful or joyful answer to those 2 questions. Who am I? And what brings me and my life meaning and joy? And then the last question on this slide, what do we do after we experience bliss? Well, there's a Zen proverb that for me says it all. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So this sage advice is meant to keep us grounded in our lives, but lifted by our experience of bliss and self-awareness on any level that we choose to seek. So what changes is we're not going to get to a blissful state of being healed and stay there forever. But what changes is our attitude toward life, how we live it, how we manage ourselves, and how we treat others. So whatever your life's work might be, you bring all of yourself to it. When you are fully present, the wood is chopped, the water is carried, and life happens. So to deepen our understanding of bliss and take the first steps to find and experience it in our lives, we now turn to steps 7, 8, and 9 of the 9 steps to self-awareness. So here they are in a nutshell. Step 7, search for and find your bliss. So here you might think of questions like, well, have I ever had a moment of bliss and joy in my life? What was I doing when I experienced those feelings? What would I need to do to bring more of those feelings into my life on a more frequent basis? Step 8, connect to the bliss. Suggestions to consider. Focus on your journey, your evolution, your personal growth. Take what you know, seek your bliss, plan for it, but don't obsess about it. Explore, identify, and this is important, soften attachments or desire to be in control of the experience. That's not possible. You can set the stage. It will happen or it won't. And step 9, bring bliss into your daily life, which simply means find meaning, define your values, live your values through your actions, and make sure your values match up to your words and your behavior. And that can be harder than it seems, but it's worth doing. And then share your values with others, maybe through community service or volunteering. So now we're going to move into some interactive exercises, and we're going to go through each layer just a little bit, but focus a little bit more on the bliss layer, since that's what we're doing this week. So you can keep your shoes on or off. You're going to sit comfortably, either on the floor, on the mat, or in your chair. And if you are in a situation, and I always want to repeat this, where you or parts of your body are unwilling or unable to do any of the exercises, do your best to visualize your body doing movements in your mind. The main goal of all of yoga is to help you develop and improve your powers of awareness, observation, and witnessing. So as we go through these exercises, your witness, and remember, your mind may judge and criticize. The witness does none of those things. So as we go through these exercises, if you find your mind saying, oh, I can't lift my arm that high, my leg won't lift, that's terrible, that's the mind. The witness is just going to say, the leg can only do this, and accept it and move on. So using the witness through every one of our little exercises, the first thing we're going to do is the staff pose that we've done every week, which is simply to inhale, raising both legs straight out and raising your arms straight up overhead. Hold for a second. Take a nice deep breath in and let the breath out. And then the next time you breathe out, lower your arms and lower your legs. Good. Now leave the feet where they are. Raise the arms up again, because it's important to get a nice side stretch to the body. So you're just going to lean over to one side a little bit. Breathe in and come up. And then breathe out as you go to the other side. And then come up and release the arms down. Good. Now resting your hands on your lap, you're just going to twist your upper body to one side. Relax back towards the center. Twist your body to the other side. Relax back towards the center. Sit comfortably. We're moving to a quick breath scan. Using your witness, notice your breath and all of its 4 parts. Notice how you inhale. Notice that slight pause before you exhale. Notice your exhale. Notice the slight pause before you inhale. So just take another couple of breaths in and out. Just notice the inhalation, the slight pause, the exhalation, the slight pause. 4 parts of your breath. Often one of the first things we do in either meditation or to calm our mind is to just focus on the breath. It's probably the most important yoga exercise you can ever learn, other than relaxation. Okay. And then after your next exhalation, we're just going to take a quick look at layer 3, the mind. Noticing the mind space. Just begin to watch your thoughts. No judgment. Try not to get lost in them. Notice if your thoughts are fixed on one thing or many things. Notice if your thoughts flow or do they dead end. Just see each one as a white puffy cloud in a clear blue sky, simply rising, passing by, and you are simply using your witness to watch. The witness watches the mind, the witness watches the breath, the witness can watch the body. The witness has a tough time watching bliss, as I've said before, but anyway. So now we're going to have a little visualization on bliss or joy. It's called your inner sanctuary. Now, last week we learned about a positive resolve. And if you were here last week and you selected one, you're going to use it again today. And we're going to be using it twice. If you are new, I'm going to give you 3 positive resolves that you can use for the exercise. You can mentally say to yourself when prompted, I am calm and resilient. Or you can say to yourself, I am healthy and whole. Or you can choose, I am peaceful and relaxed. So whichever one you choose, just know we're going to be using it twice. So now you're going to relax yourself in whatever position you are in. Your eyes can be open or closed, whichever is going to be most comfortable for you. And we're going to take a trip through your personal inner sanctuary or resource. What is it? It's a place or a time where you can find yourself totally at ease and secure. able to be 100 completely yourself without care or concern. For you, this might be a special place in nature, the mountains, a garden, a beach, a room in your home, or some other place or time where you feel completely protected and secure. Or it may just be a feeling of pure release that manifests in your body as a sensation of ease. Perhaps it's a sense of fullness or flowing water, beams of light, or a feeling of floating. Wherever it is, whatever it is, this is where you can always go within yourself to relax and feel completely at ease, completely calm, a place, feeling, or experience where you can really be at ease. And once you are there, now it is time to silently repeat your resolve that you've chosen 3 times with awareness, with feeling, and with emphasis. Repeating the resolve 3 times. Now, allow this place that you've chosen, this feeling or experience to arise, and sense it with all of your senses: sight, smell, hearing, touch, taste, and felt sense of body sensation. So in this place, your inner sanctuary, see sights that please your eye. Notice, be aware. What is it that you see or sense? And then notice if there are sounds that you can hear that soothe and relax. What do you hear or sense? Notice and welcome all that presents itself in your inner sanctuary. Notice objects that evoke feelings of comfort and ease as they come into contact with the body. Can you touch anything? Does something touch you? Notice, witness. What can you sense? Notice if there are smells and taste that give rise to the good feelings of comfort and ease. Notice, be aware. What can you sense? Take this time to experience, sense, and feel your personal inner sanctuary, wherever, whenever, and whatever it may be. Notice and welcome this into your awareness. Experience how being here in this moment affects the entire body and mind. Just allow any images to come fully into awareness, along with a deeply felt sense of comfort, security, calm, and ease of being. Now, once again, repeat your chosen resolve 3 times with awareness, with feeling, and with emphasis. As you experience the supportive, protective state of comfort, security, and ease of being that you have created for yourself. Just take a few seconds and observe. Sense. Feel. Then gently become aware of your breathing. Notice the state of your physical body. Notice your breath. Notice your level of relaxation. Then gently and slowly begin to move your body and stretch your body in any way that your body is asking to be stretched. Just take a moment, tune in. Good. And then you're going to take your hands, place them together, and rub. And you'll notice that you're able to bring up a little heat in the palms of your hands. And then you're going to take your palms and cover your eyes. And just let your eyes drink in the warmth from your hands. And then you're going to use your fingertips to massage your temples just a little bit. And any other place on your face that needs a little help. Sometimes the jaws get real tight. So just gently massage. Good. And then relaxing the hands down. And we end by taking 3 breaths together. So we're going to inhale, raise our arms over our head. And as your arms come down, you can either repeat your resolve or make a selfish wish. What is it that you need or want for your life? Letting the arms come down. Second breath, arms go out and up. And this time, as you exhale, since you've made a wish for yourself, you let this second wish be for someone else, a group of people that you want to see at their very best. And then third, we extend that even a little wider. Arms go out, up, and overhead. This time our palms are together. And as we exhale, we lower our hands to our heart. And with our next breath in, we lift our hearts. Exhale, we bow to each other for health and the best in life, and hoping that we can all find our bliss. Thank you. And now I think we have time for a couple of questions or comments, if there are any.
Someone says, I love the idea of envisioning myself being able to do the stretching. It keeps me thinking, my thinking mind from judging myself on my perceived ability. I can focus on how great it is to feel, how great it feels to move.
Good. Congratulations. You got the message. You got the lesson.
I really appreciate how you distinguish between the mind and the witness. That's so helpful. I just want to say thank you. You're a gem. I've shared your videos with many of my friends.
Oh, thank you so much. And that distinction between mind and witness can be really hard to grasp. So I'm really pleased that you're able to see how they are different, connected, but different.
Someone saying this brought up some years of blissful moments that I am so blessed to have experienced.
Good. Yes. Don't ever forget them. Don't ever forget them. They are amazing. And then you will remember that when you had those blissful moments, even the witness disappears. Everything sort of molds and morphs into one indescribable moment that you can't describe until you're out of it. It is a fascinating thing. But we can encourage it by positive thinking, exercise, doing what we can do to find those values that make us happy. That sort of sends the invitation out to bliss. Hey, I'm here. I'm ready for a visit.
Someone's asking, would you recommend doing these in the morning or the evenings or both? What do you find?
Well, the exercise, it depends on your body. For instance, I find, for me personally, I'll do my more intensive stretches and exercises in the afternoon. Some people can get out of bed in the morning and are ready for that. So I would say whenever your body feels ready for it, in terms of the mental exercises, kind of the same thing. Although, again, personally, I have found that it's better for me to do my my meditation, my breathing exercises in the morning, because by the time I've gotten into the day, it's hard for me to get back to that. So you really have to look at what your daily life is like, what your body's feeling, what your witness is telling you, and what your energy is telling you. So there aren't any specific, I don't make any specific recommendations. I say it's up to each individual to find out what works for them. In general, most of the advice I've seen overall says that because morning is supposed to be a special time, that's the best time to do your exercises and your meditations, etc. It might be, it might not be. It depends. And that's a good way to look at pretty much everything in life. It depends. It's complicated. So it depends.
That's great. Thank you, Beth. Why don't you let everybody know what to expect for next week?
Sure. Next week, we're going to bring everything together, kind of summarize the 5 layers, the 9 steps, and our interactive exercises will, again, go through each layer and sort of bring everything together and hopefully answer any last questions that you might have about how you can use this model of the 5 layers in your everyday life, because you absolutely can.